Hello, YouTube family. Welcome back to part two of the interview with the author, Dolores McMillan, of the book Take Two. Hello, YouTube family. Welcome back for part two of the interview, Suppose Jesus Had Thrown in the Towel and Given Up on Us, by author Dolores McMillan. Well, let's just jump right into it. Let's get right into the meat of the whole thing and stuff. I know you moved down here to North Carolina and stuff, and you were down here some years before you decided to deal with anybody on that level and stuff. How did you end up meeting your husband, Roger?
Well, Paul, it was through you. You came to the house one day and you said, "Mom, Roger want to talk to you." And I'm like, why did he want to talk to me? You know, the only time I had seen him had any dealings was when he would come to the house, use the phone to call his girlfriend, and I didn't pay any attention to him. You know, I just leave him in the room to talk to his girlfriend and go about my business. So this particular night, and you come and say, Roger wanted to talk to him, and I said, well, I don't know what he wanted to talk to me about, but I'm like, okay. And so you went and got him. And he came in the house. And I'm like, well, you want to talk downstairs or go upstairs in my office? And he said he wanted to go upstairs in the office. And I said, okay, then let's go. So we went upstairs and was sitting there, and he was all nervous and stammering and everything. And he was like, well, I would do something if I knew you would do this. And I'm like, what in the world are you talking about? And at this time, he had a girlfriend, and he says, well, if I knew what your answer would be, then I would do this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, well, if I knew you would say yes, then I would break up with my girlfriend. And I'm like, sure. I didn't take it seriously or anything. I'm like, sure, why not? And so the next thing I knew, he was coming around, and we was walking and talking in the evenings and all, and, and that was it. We would just go out walking in the evenings when he came. We walk and talk and just spent time together. And that's what we did.
So he was sound to me like he was a smooth operator.
Well, I don't know about that, but
more like a nervous operator.
Yeah, maybe that was it. A nervous operator.
I tried to look out for you, Roger.
And he was nervous. He was nervous. He really was nervous, and I thought it was funny. I thought it really was funny, and I didn't take it seriously. It's just, going out, walking, spending time together, and, and that was it. I didn't, think that, years later, but life happens, I guess.
Okay. So, I know reading your book, I know y'all had a lot of good times, but y'all had a lot of bad times too and stuff. And I know a lot of those bad times was contributed to his drinking. When you and Roger got together, when did you realize that his drinking was an issue, or it would be an issue?
Well, when we first started talking, I didn't even know he drank. I didn't know he drank, and he very seldom smoked. And he knew I couldn't stand smoke, so he would be off somewhere else. He didn't smoke around me because I never could stand the smell of smoke. But drinking, I never knew it was a problem until after we got married. 6 months after we got married, I discovered it was a big problem. We had, I was going to Fayetteville State, and we went to a function at the Art Council, and it was a Christmas party. And it was all set up, the bar set up and everything. And he was like, well, D, can I have a drink? And I'm like, sure, why not? Being sociably, why not have a drink? I don't see anything wrong with that. But if you have a drinking problem, drinking sociably is a problem. And it really was. But it didn't rear its ugly head until 6 months after we was married. And when it came up big.
So, you said 6 months. It came up big. You care to share any of those big issues that happened?
Well, after seemed like it started, we wanted a baby. And I'm like, this is gonna, be my last baby. I want a baby. We wanted a baby. So it seemed like when we finally got pregnant, I think maybe about 3 months or so after we got married, finally got pregnant. And I told him, and he was so happy. He was so happy that I was finally pregnant. But then, I don't know what happened. Seemed like something happened after that. And things just, he would drink like, he said, well, D, I'm not working Saturday, so I drink a little something. So he would drink Saturday and he had to go to work Sunday, so he didn't drink anything else. And then by the time we were 6 months into the marriage, he was drinking basically every day. And that was a problem.
When you seen 6 months afterwards, when you seen he was drinking every day, did any alarms go off in your head and any red flags go up with you then?
Yes, but then we was already married and I was pregnant. So it's like, okay, things gonna get better. He's not gonna keep doing this. Things gonna get better, But then it was like every day. And then he started going out on the weekend and staying out. And I'm like, well, my goodness, this is not the man I married, because I married a man that I thought didn't drink. But come to find out, he had a problem with it. And that was a big problem because I wasn't used to being around anyone drinking. And so it was a big problem. I didn't even know how to act. I didn't even know what to do. So I'm just going on along, hoping things will get better.
Okay. Well, one of my favorite parts of the book was the story about the bird. I've heard that story a lot, and whenever I read it in the book, I smile. Have you ever thought about telling Roger about the bird and who that bird really was?
Well, let me first tell the viewers about the bird. Okay, you see,
you're in for a treat.
My dad was killed when I was a baby. So we was down at the pond one day fishing. So we was just talking, and I told Roger, I said, you know what? You better not hurt me, because I feel like my dad has always been around me to protect me. So you better not hurt his baby. And he was like, gone, D. I said, you know what? My daddy could tell that bird to pee on you, and he would pee on you. D, no, he won't either. I don't believe you. D, you better stop that. You better stop that. So I said, okay, you don't believe me? I said, I looked up, it was some birds flying overhead. So I looked up, I said, Daddy, tell that bird to pee on him. So my husband was looking around. And some water dropped on his head. And boy, he jumped up and he looked. He said, D, don't do that. Don't do that. And I bust out laughing at him. It was so funny. You know, so I just laughed and I laughed at him. Don't you do that no more. Don't you do that no more. You see, my husband is you can easily scare him. So I thought it was just so funny. And I would always tell him, I'm like, you better not hurt me. I'm going to tell my daddy. He's going to get you. He's going to get you. And he would always, D, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that, D. Don't say that. And it was just funny. And over the years, matter of fact, a couple of his friends read the book. And they would pick at him about that particular section in the book. Mm-hmm. And to this day, I don't think it really clicked, you know, who that bird was. You know, I really don't think it really clicked who it was. I really don't. But for you to find out who that bird was and everything, you need to buy the book. You need to buy the book. The book is $18 plus shipping and handling, and we'll ship it right out to you. And there's a lot of things in it that would help and encourage you. We just want to give you a little background information and stuff so you'll know about what's going on in the book when we get further and further to it. You know, but yeah, through it all, the Lord saw us through, and He brought us out all right.
Well, Mr. Lois, Mom, you know it's always a pleasure to interview you. It seems like I always learn something new about you when we do these interviews and stuff. That, by far, is probably one of my favorite stories about that bird, because it probably would have fooled me and stuff, though. But this is only the beginning of the interviews that me and my mother will be doing. We're going to go a little more in depth with the book. We can't give it all away to you for free, but we can get those juices going to where you'll want to buy that book, though. Very reasonable prices. Shipping and handling is taken care of and stuff. Go out, buy the book, subscribe to the channel. My mama even signed it for you and stuff. Mom, you'd like to say anything else?
Well, I like to say thank you so much for joining us, and please subscribe. Subscribe. View it, like it, subscribe, and please share. Please share it, because it'll be a blessing to so many people, letting them know they don't have to give up, because God did not give up on us. Suppose He had gave up on us. Suppose He just threw in the towel and said, I don't want to deal with these humans anymore. I don't want to deal with them. They're hard-headed, stiff-necked people. But through it all, the Lord took us through, and I didn't give up on Him. And I'm sure the Lord did not give up on me, and He's not giving up on you, and especially you. But through this book, it can encourage you and let you know that you are not alone, and you are not the only one that's going through, because there's so many people going through the same things you are going through. I thought I was the only one out there, but then when I started talking to people, I found out that they are going through what I was going through, and sometimes it was worse than what I was going through. But I just thank God that He kept us, and I allowed Him to come into my life and lead and guide me and how to become the woman of God that He wanted me to be, so I could be able to help and encourage others. I love you all, and I appreciate all of you watching and subscribing and sharing it with other people, so it'll be a blessing to them. Thank you so much, and we love you.
Suppose Jesus had thrown in a towel and given up on us. Get the book while supplies last. Y'all have a good one, you two family. Good night.